I love your podcast. I really do. I really enjoy it every week. And I look forward to new ones. And congratulations on this interview that you just did. I look forward to other interviews that you plan on having. And yes, congratulations on everything that you're doing. I'm very, very proud of you. Mwah.
The Wett Spot by PassionPoet. This is a space for intimacy, vulnerability, transparency. A place where we not only talk about eroticism and sex, but we'll also touch on topics that may make you a little vulnerable, a little exposed. However, this is a safe space where you can disrobe and get real. There is no judgment allowed here. So are you ready? Let's get wet. The Wett Spot is sponsored by Passionate Words Editing Services. At Passionate Words Editing Services, words are a writer's currency. We help you spend them wisely. For all your editing, proofreading, transcribing needs, follow at Passionate Words Editing on Instagram. That's at passionate.words.editing on Instagram, or on Facebook on facebook.com/passionatewordsediting. Let's help you spend your currency well. Follow Passionate Words on Instagram or Facebook now. In this segment, I invite you to join me as I speak about a current wet topic with a guest to the show. I hope you enjoy as we get wet together. Hello, welcome to the Wett Spot. And this is the interview section, and I am here with Miss Angel Sand. Angel, can you hear me?
I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
I am hearing you very, very far away. So let's see if you can raise that volume.
How about now?
No, I'm still hearing you. You're far away. Where are you?
Basically with the mouth. The phone the phone is basically inside of my mouth.
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm trying to. Okay, let me see what happens if I do this. Hello?
Hello?
Okay, great. All right. You know what? Yes, this is the life of a podcaster. Right? This is a life of a podcaster. This is. I will admit. I am going to admit to you right now that this is like the third take on this thing. I wasn't going to tell you, but this is the life of a podcaster. Deal with it. I am PassionPoet. This is the Wett Spot, and I have Angel with me. And Miss Angel Sand is the author of Release Me. Release Me is this. It really is a nice book. I would say that it's very short, and I got to the end and I was like, where's the rest? but at least I hear now that there's a book 2 coming. So tell us about yourself, please. How are you? Tell us about yourself.
I am doing well. Thank you for having me on. And I would say that I am a young woman who lives in the U.S., originally from the state of California. So I'm West Coast baby. And I am passionate about writing as a whole. I've been writing my entire life, but Release Me is my first published work. I did it indie through Amazon, like many people do. Of course, there's some who frown upon it and there's some who appreciate it, but that's the route that I took. And I'm really happy with the experience so far. I've met great people through the promotion of the book and being new to social media as well, like PassionPoet. And I appreciate all of his support and engagement with me, like many, many others. It's been a great ride, and I'm really happy about the work and how it turned out. And I'm happy about the reviews I've received so far as well. I'm looking forward to getting book 2 out there to close the gap for everyone who's waiting.
Yes, please. Got me here so on tenterhooks. I am like, what? Anyhow, so tell us about Release Me. We said it in a deleted take, and I'll say it here again. If you don't want to hear if you want to read the book first, we are going to deal with spoilers. We are going to talk about the book. So if it's a great book, so if you want to read it first and then get back to the podcast, you can do so. If not, just know there are going to be spoilers in the book. So in the podcast about the book, yeah. So what got you into writing Release Me?
Well, writing Release Me was a work of, I'm going to say, passionate repentance. I lost some family now more than 15 years ago. And it was a really condensed time of mourning for my family where we lost 5 people in a 6-month period.
Damn.
And
sorry,
exactly. And one of the persons that we lost, her name was Karen. And this was an opportunity for me to apologize for not giving her the time when she was alive that I should have. This is not her story. Her life was very different, maybe even the complete opposite of Karen's. But I think that in another time in life, she may have chosen to live her life very similar to the way that Karen did. And this was my opportunity to be creative in a work, imagining how I think someone else's life could have been, and coupling that with my need to identify with the quirky woman, the non-traditional romantic, or the woman who doesn't have those traditional romantic experiences, especially around sex. Because the story, Karen is a virgin, but this is not your typical virgin tale where she loses her virginity and is immediately in love with sex and attached to the guy, and they have some minute woes, and then they kind of break up, but then he does something grandiose, and now they're back kids, and he's her only sexual partner in life, right? Which is not necessarily the truth for all of us women in the world who aren't virgins and aren't on one solitary partner. It's not the truth. Right? And
yes.
Well, I thought this was an opportunity for me to do that.
Well, cool. I mean, well, that is the main thing that I noticed when I read it. I said the same thing. This is not your typical virgin relinquishing of your virginity story, and for that alone, I was hooked. I loved the fact that she owned her virginity and gave it away or released it in the manner that she saw fit. And because there are so many women out there whose first, especially their first sexual experience is almost always a harrowing, traumatic one. This, to me, this was a breath of fresh air. I have for those of you who follow me enough, follow me long enough, you know the Erotic Empire is a brand and a community, and I have a community on Facebook where there are a couple 204 members or so, and one time I wanted to just have, as you do as a leader of a group, you want to engage conversation, right? So I am telling them, tell me about your first sexual experience. I am expecting to hear, he didn't get it in, or he couldn't find the hole, or, like my own first sexual experience, I was so afraid of getting her pregnant that I pulled out right before. And and then I had to apologize profusely, because she was right there. And then I pulled out, and she was very mad. So I was looking for stories like that. And then almost everybody was like, well, I was raped, or I was molested, or I was, and that really blew my mind. So to me, I love the fact that this story doesn't go that route, doesn't go any traditional route. She owns her pussy. She owns her sexuality. She gives it out. She gives it to who she wants to. And then then the fact that then she runs away. I will admit, I feel for Jamie.
Everybody feels for Jamie. It's either you feel for Jamie or you think he's crazy. It's one or the other. You are a male, and I know that you're from Barbados, but I think that this is traditional for most male, female, traditional, idealistic raising traditions, however you want to put it, that men, you need to put your chest out. If you feel pain, if you feel anguish, if you've been hurt, especially by a woman, you better man up. You don't cry over a woman. You don't through anger or rejection or them. And Jamie has decided that that is not the route he wants to take, that yes, he's experienced pain with this person and he's dealt with it for 9 years, but now this is his real opportunity to maybe, even if it doesn't work, it's his chance to own it as well, to own how they part from one another, to actually be in control of his emotions this time. If she walks away, at least he knows that he didn't feel like he was a coward, that he actually put in all the effort that was necessary to win a woman that he believes is right for him. So again, like if you've ever done anyone wrong in your life, you know that it's kind of hard for you to believe that they've really forgiven you because you believe that you've done them just that wrong. And if you cross paths again, you don't think that they're going to be open. And I think that is what Karen is going through. Like, hey, what I did was pretty shady. I don't know if maybe you just want to get me back. Yes, 9 years have passed. We should be more mature, but vendettas last a lifetime. So who's to say that you're not trying to will me in just to walk away?
Yeah, because I'll be honest. I had a situation where when I got married the first time, I actually invited an ex-girlfriend to the wedding, with the intention of sort of rubbing it in her face, saying, you should have been here. And I know it was a pretty shitty thing to do, but I will admit she was a friend of both myself and my ex-wife at the time, my wife at the time. So she just thought she was being introduced. She was being invited to the wedding. So my whole shady, deliberately petty kind of thing went straight over her head, and I didn't get the satisfaction of rubbing it in her face like I really wanted. Okay, yes, I can be petty when I want to be. I know. But I am glad that, this is, like I say, it's a real life story. Yeah. It isn't idealistic, like you say. It isn't, because the cookie cutter romances that we read, they follow a format. Like you say, they follow a format. Guy meets girl, guy is a dick. Girl is vexed with him, somehow they get mad passionate sex that one time, then she's besotted and he turns his back, and and it's a formula. So
Yes.
I'm just glad that I'm reading something that has a breath of fresh air, is not formulaic and pulls me in. I usually don't like when a book ends and then I have to wait until book 2 to see what happens next. I'll be honest. I usually don't. But this time, I'll forgive you for it because it wasn't.
Look, I didn't lie. I made sure that I put in all of the promo that book 1 of book 2, book 1 of a 2-book series. I didn't want anyone to be led on. And I don't feel like I left it on like a real cliffhanger.
No, right? You didn't. No, you didn't. That's my point. I like it how it is because it ends. There is a definite ending, but there is a what if afterwards. So it isn't like, there are some people that I've read books where it's one story and they literally cut it in the middle. So I'm like, it's almost like you're saying, and the guy jumps over the moon, but you're only getting to, and the guy jumps over, come to book 2. And you're going to, I'm like, hello, what the, no. Right. So you yes, how dare you? I'm in the middle. No, that's definitely a cliffhanger. Like, you got me on, I walk in and literally you pull not even pull the rug under my feet. You pull the whole world from under me, and I all lost in space because I ain't got nothing to hold on to. And yeah, but you didn't do that. So it ended. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end. Although there's more to come, and I can deal with that, I like it now.
And for you, Passion Poet, I ended it with sex. So isn't that nice?
Yes, you did. yes, you got me there. I did appreciate that. Yes, I did. Yeah. So I mean, but I'm glad that, like I said, I'm eagerly looking forward to book 2. How far along are you with that so far?
So book 2 is coming along very well. I am participating in NaNoWriMo. Ooh. And like a fool, I began 12 days late. So I am behind. Will I be at 50,000 words on November 30th? God will take care of me this week. That's the way I see it. He will put the power in these 10 fingers that I never imagined possible to put me there. So I'm there on Saturday.
Nice. So, well, I haven't actually done. I will. For those who are not aware, that is the national. What is it again? You remember? National
Novel Writing Month.
Yes. National Novel Writing Month, and you are, you start at the beginning of November and you get to 50,000 words by the end of November. So that's just a little sidebar for those who don't know what it is. But yes. I must admit, I've never tried to attempt that because I don't know, maybe next year.
It is hard. It is not an easy thing to do because it's almost like saying, I am going to fast from bread. And then as soon as you do that, the bread aisle glows at the grocery store. Every bread item is so appetizing, even though you haven't thought of it at all. It's your kids' lunch and stuff, but now you want to eat it because you've said you're not. And that's kind of like committing to NaNoWriMo. You write normally, but now that you've made this commitment, it's like, I cannot get to write. It's like the day is done, and now I need to try to write 1,667 words before midnight, and it's 11:50. That's just how it goes.
Boy, but yes, I am just, like I said, I'm really looking forward to book 2. Do you write? I think you mentioned either in this take or some of the others before that you've written other things, but Release Me is your first published work. Are you going to write? Are you going to actually release any of the other things? See what I did there? Release. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the play on words.
But are you going to release anything else after Release Me duet is done?
After Release Me Book 2 comes out, I am going to take a break. This is the reason why. There's so many great authors out there, indie authors, that I did not know about previously, that I want to read. And yes. I hate reading others people's works while I'm writing, because then I'm like, am I kind of stealing from that? Did that idea come from something that I read with them? So I take a complete sabbatical from reading, and I love to read while I'm writing something. So after I do that, I really want to take at least, 30 to 45 days and get everyone's book out of the way, or all the works of the great people that I want to read, like you, PassionPoet, like, M.T. Dixon, like Honesty Price, like Jay Cherry, like, I could continue to go on, like,
yes.
Sanaj the writer, like Mazi Kane Books. I could continue to go on because I know I have left someone behind, plus the bloggers. So, I don't know every blogger's name, so I don't want to offend anyone, but like some of their Instagram handles that you guys should follow is like, Hey Friend, Linnea Blogs Her Way, My Love of Books, ATL, the book club babes. They're not bloggers. They do video blogs, but all of these people, deserve our support. We are a community of writers of color, and it's important that we support one another. And we have to take the time to do that and be intentional of it. It's worth the investment. Yes. You want reviews? Take the time out and read and review other people's work. Love begets love. Like respect begets respect. And I believe in that, and I try to emulate that as much as I can.
Well, I'm glad that my books are up there. I see, I said I tried to do a little giveaway over the last couple of days, and your response was it's on my TBR list. So I'm looking forward to that, getting the book and having a review of it and stuff. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, you are absolutely correct. We as authors, we as people of color, from all over the world, I would add Barbadian / Caribbean writers as well. Need to all the different genres, all the different different people need to come together and really support one another. It is true. I wish everybody had that kind of viewpoint, because it is so difficult getting reviews. Sometimes it feels like pulling teeth. It feels like you are begging people to read your book, which in a sense you are, because books are released daily. Books are like kids.
Absolutely. That being said, I just want to throw out a couple other names because I love them so much, like Kiana Donay and Author Untamed, right? But like I said, if I keep on sitting here, I think I'll name so many people. Portia Dune, like, the Damn It Sam. I can continue to go on, and these women are supportive as well. But if I take a look and I go to most of our pages, most of us, it is less than 500 followers. And if you probably look at the followers of the people that I've mentioned, that is probably other authors. What are we doing to expand outside of our own communities as well? And part of that is putting the reviews out there. Even if it's authors reviewing other authors' work, that's fine, because that raises up the awareness on Amazon. If you have more than 10 reviews, you get bumped up in the rotation of people also bought this book. If you have more than 50, so if we are all authors, we are all looking to make, and there's enough for all of us to eat. This pie is big enough for all of us to eat. So we just have to take the time to do that and promote one another, like this in this podcast. So many of us who are authors also have a podcast, like you and myself, and Linnea has a podcast. Author Untamed has a podcast where she has author spotlights every single month, and you get to learn about the author, learn about their works, and then you can become a fan. And that's a really cool opportunity that she does that, right? We all have the chance to support one another to each other's audiences, because my 500 aren't your 500. And so
that's true. Yes, exactly. So, that is great. And I love it because, It's very difficult, especially from my perspective, doing that. I said to someone just this weekend, I put myself in almost an impossible position. My niche is so selective in a sense. One is poetry, well, except for the novel, because Make It Rain is my debut novel, and now people are clamoring. I said to you off air, somebody's actually threatening me with actual bodily harm because I need to finish that book. Make It Rain is my debut novel, and that was a deliberate step away from the poetry. But I put myself in a niche because one, I'm doing poetry, and two, I'm doing erotic poetry. So people who might be interested in reading poetry, I've seen in my own personal journey when I do author sign-ins and stuff, they come to the table, they see the work, they realize it. Well, sometimes they don't even get to the point that they realize that it's poetry. They realize that it's erotic, and they shy away. It's like, oh my God, no! I will be contaminated if I read this.
And can I be controversial for a moment?
Sure.
About that specifically. I believe that, and it's probably, like you said, conservative, and many people align the word conservative with Christian. And, one thing that is a really big, and I deal with it on my own as well, but conservative people don't want to read erotic novels. There's always, God doesn't like that. He doesn't want me to do this or do that. But God created us as sexual beings. And he said, be fruitful and multiply. So you, as a Christian person, if you think that it is wrong to fornicate or have sex outside of wedlock, that's totally fine. I agree with that view. But that doesn't mean specifically for your genre. So if you read a novel and the novel the entire time is talking about a person having sex outside of marriage and you don't agree, that's totally fine. Don't read that novel. But your poetry is very specific about the sexual encounter. It doesn't say if they're married. It doesn't say if they're single. But married people are not to deny one another sexually. Don't you want to take your sexual relationship with your spouse, because 9 times out of 10 you are married, to another level? Don't you want to increase your erotic thoughts and imagination to entice your husband that's probably out there acting like Pastor Wilson, right? Don't you want them to be Pastor Wilson on you? Read some of this stuff. Open up your mind, open up your body to receive all the joy that can be given to you through knowledge of expression that you are denying because the Lord said don't do it. No, the Lord said for you to have sex with your husband, lady. So get out there and spread them things. That's all.
Jeez. Hallelujah, even. Hallelujah. I'm feeling that. I up in church up in here. Yes. Because honestly, I'm so glad you said that, because that's exactly what I've been trying to tell the people when they come to my desk, when they come to my book table. You are absolutely correct. You've read the work, so you know I'm not speaking about. There's nothing deliberate. There's nothing specific, rather, about the sexual encounter. It is a man and a woman. It could be any man and any woman, but I'm dealing specifically with the sexual act from a perspective of making the woman feel desired, making the woman feel not like literally. I want you as a woman to feel. I will use the word divine in the. I slide away a little bit from the Christian worldview, but to be honest, I want you as a woman to feel. I want you to feel seductive. I want you to want to walk around knowing that you, as you said, are Eve to his Adam, to your husband, to your. I'm not telling you to spread your legs for anybody else. I'm just saying, as you have so aptly put it, the work is there so that you and your husband can get it on. That's exactly what it is. I link spirituality and sex in my work a lot, because sex, and as you said, God created sex, right? I'll give a quick story that some others that know me very well have heard multiple times already. My first book, erotic. This guy at my day job, he said he wanted to support me, so he bought the book. Then he brought it back 2 days later. Now, as a businessman, I'm wanting to know, is there something wrong with the product? Is the book printed wrong? I mean, I looked at it, I inspected it, but maybe I missed something, you know? Yes. And so I was going to offer him another copy of the book, or if he was that offended, you know, I'll take the money back. He said, no, he don't want the money back. He just wants to give me back the book because he didn't know what type of book it was. I want you to go on Amazon, right? And go and look for my books. Look for my books. Or actually, if you're listening to this podcast, bit.ly/erotic empire, one word, bit.ly/erotic empire, or just go straight to PassionPoet.com, which is my website, and you'll see the books there. And there's a reason why I'm bringing that up. If you go and you look for my book, Erotic has a picture, a very tasteful black and white picture of a naked woman on the cover. You can't see anything. So it's named Erotic. It has a naked woman on the cover, and you don't know what kind of book it is?
He got in trouble when he got home.
He did. He must have. So his next argument to me is, oh, he's a Christian. He can't keep that book home. I said, I literally, like, I was like, oh, I didn't use this term at the time, but literally, you know, I know some Americans who would say something like, nigga, you know, like.
But truly, the name of the book is Erotic. Then that means that. You do not understand the definition, but that's too bad for him. You know.
So I said to him. I said to him, okay, I have two issues with what you just said. First, Song of Solomon.
Okay. Your breast, my love, our life.
You just hit you can continue, right? Because those are my favorite verses in the entire Bible. I don't even read the Bible much no more, and I still remember those verses. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. And secondly, I said to him, you got another issue. Following the Christian tradition, there are three, not just one. There are three people who were created ever since the beginning of time without sex. Adam, Eve, and Jesus. Which means, I said, that you have a daughter. I hope you got her on eBay, and I hope you got a discount, because you obviously don't know enough about sex. That's what I said. I can't understand, you know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but you are absolutely correct. More than likely, he got into trouble carrying it home. You know, what you should have done, buddy, is said, listen to me. The same way that Solomon wrote poems for the dark-skinned beauty of Sheba, I can't write it, but I bought these poems for you. Listen to this. I really put it to her. I mean, that's why I wrote it.
To help you, sir. I'm trying to set you up for success.
I'm just saying, when I go on stage and I perform, I mean, sometimes I pick out a girl from the audience. I kneel in front of her and read and just perform the poem for her right in front. You know, I mean, her man is standing right next to me. You know what I mean? Sitting right next to her, and she may, you know, usually I make a little joke and say, I borrowing you, girl, for this poem. You good? You good? Because I don't want he beat me up afterwards, you know. But my thing is, that's why I write the pieces. I write the pieces exactly like that. My goal, whoever you are, married or not married, whatever, my goal is that you as a sexual being connect with the sexual energy, right? Because in my worldview, and if Christians actually sit and think about it, sexual energy is equal to life force energy, which is equal to divine energy. God's energy is sexual energy. You might not think about it that way because you want to see God as just on high or whatever, and that is true. But God is sexual energy. And I will say it quickly before we wrap up. I'm looking at my time and realize it's almost 45 minutes already. Yeah. And I still have to build the podcast with, my poems and stuff on the front. But what I realized when I was researching this, I do not remember the word itself. Because it's been a little while. But the word, if you check for the second verse in the Bible, Genesis 1:2, it says, and the Spirit of God hovered over the waters. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
If you look at that word hovered, and you did what I did, because I was almost in seminary. For those who are not aware, PassionPoet has been a leader of a church, and I almost went to seminary, became a full pastor and all that. I was a Christian from the time I was 2 years old. I got baptized at 10, and I left the church at 33. So I know what I'm talking about. So I went researching, and that word hovered, the image of that word hover, it actually is multi-layered, that actual word in Hebrew. And I can't remember what it is right now. But one definition of that word is hovered. The same way, if you are a wife, and I say wife deliberately for all the Christian ladies out there, if you are a wife and you're laying on your back in missionary, and your husband is hovering over you, he is just about to enter, and he waits there. You can feel the heat of his member right next to it, and he has not moved yet. He's not entered you yet. He's just there hovering, giving you a little bit of tease, waiting. That hover is the word. When it said that the Spirit of God hovered over the waters, it is that word. It is a sexual word. So when you are here going about your day saying that God ain't got you as a sexual being so that you could enjoy sex, you think you're wrong for enjoying sex. I am here to tell you, tongue in cheek, as a prophet of God, quote unquote, that God wants you to go and screw your husband.
He does.
I'm just saying. So buy my books and go screw your husband. I'm just saying.
Damn. Look it.
What? Yes,
it's true. It's true.
This is true. But yeah, I'm like I said, as I wrap up, I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of my podcast, The Wett Spot. Hey, look, even the name is provocative. Anyway, and how can people who are interested in you find you and find the copy of your book to get it for themselves?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And you guys can keep up with me on Instagram at The Real Angel Sand. I too have a podcast, a little bit of a different concept. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other hosts. You can follow the podcast at Dirty Talk, and that's DURTY Talk Podcast. Also on Instagram, and you could type in Dirty Talk Podcast on Spotify or Apple or whichever you choose to listen, and check us out there as well. I'm very happy to be part of this community, and I look forward to hearing you guys' feedback on my work. I like everything, the good, the bad, the in-between, because all of it's going to help me grow. It's your favorite mermaid here checking out.
Ooh, favorite mermaid. I like that. So yes, thank you so much. And we will be checking in with you. I follow you on IG already, and I'm definitely going to check out that podcast. So this is PassionPoet. We've been talking to Miss Angel Sand about her book, Release Me. So this is PassionPoet checking out. Later.
Bye.
Peace. Thank you for joining me on the Wett Spot. My name is PassionPoet. You can find me on Instagram at Bajan Passion Poet. BAJANPASSIONPOET. Bajan Passion Poet. Or on my website at passionpoet.com. I hope to see you next time.